Turkey's in the middle of an extremely volatile region, so who is it? ISIS or PKK or some other group? Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador John Bolton, goes on the record. Ambassador, they're still investigating it. I mean, nobody has claimed, bragged about this so far, but your thought?
Well, with that caveat, I think it looks like ISIS. I think it's significant that tomorrow is the second anniversary of the declaration of the ISIS caliphate in Syria and Iraq. There's been a lot of fighting along the Syrian-Turkish border aimed at cutting off ISIS's access from the land it holds in Syria into Turkey, where they've gotten a lot of recruits, a lot of weapons, a lot of the commerce has gone through there. So as ISIS has been pressed militarily, they've expanded their terrorist attacks, and it stands to reason that an attack on the most visible symbol of commerce into Turkey through the international airport would suit their ends.
And of course, the odds are they're more likely to get a foreigner if they do that. The State Department just on Monday upgraded its warning to American tourists in the area. And then you've got the situation where on Monday, President Erdogan and Israel seem to be doing a reset, mending some discomfort between those two nations the last couple of years. And you've got Erdogan apologizing to Putin over the death, the December death of a fighter pilot.
Right. I think Erdogan's trying to clear the decks. He's got a lot of problems, and he's got a war on his border, hundreds of thousands of refugees. But I think the parallel, as you mentioned at the beginning, to the airport attack in Brussels is also significant. We know of at least 3 bombers here. You can't tell whether, when others perhaps realized that the attack had been blown prematurely, that they simply exited along with everybody running in panic. It could have even been bigger. We just don't know at this point.
You know, it seems to me airports are such soft targets, just like cafes and everything else. And I find this one significant is that it was really sort of close to home to ISIS. You know, it's in Turkey, right on the border. It's not Brussels. You know, it's not the United States. It's almost, I mean, you know, it's interesting to me that it's close to home.
Well, it's a target. Obviously, it would be a lot easier to reach, and the symbolism, again, of a major international airport is hard to resist. I think ISIS could well have launched other missions. We're close to the end of Ramadan. This would fit the pattern of doing more in Ramadan. So I would think in Europe and even in the United States, it's well to be on guard here for the next couple of days, even more than normal.
What would you expect President Obama's statement to be in the event that it is ISIS?
Well, if we follow his pattern over the past several years, he'll downplay it. And I think it's a mistake. Look, this is not a series of completely isolated events that have taken place by coincidence in the Middle East, in Europe, in the United States. This is a radical ideology. It comes in a lot of different forms: Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Taliban, the rulers in Iran who are radical Islamicists in their own right. And unless we recognize the ideology, although it may have different manifestations, we're never going to combat it effectively. You
know, it's so troubling because, you know, we've put all these safety measures in, you know, so that no one can get on a plane with a bomb. But now they've, quote, wised up, and they see that they can bomb people right as they go into the airport.
Well, I was just in Israel last week, and, you know, there are checkpoints even before you pull up to the terminal, and they've got bomb-sniffing dogs and the rest of it, and that may be our future as well.
Well, I've seen about 3 or 4 checkpoints to get into a hotel in Pakistan, Islamabad. You've got to go through all those checkpoints a couple blocks away.
It doesn't necessarily protect you there either.
No, indeed it does not. Anyway, Ambassador, thank you, sir.
Thank you.